Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. So for today's video, as you've already seen from the title, we are making this beautiful crop top. It has a flare sleeve or oversized sleeve, I don't know, whatever you want to call that. I can't put the top on because again, it's not mine. It's a custom order. So I designed this top I think about 2 or 3 years ago, and I was so glad to get another custom order to recreate it. So I wanted to show you guys how you can make this for yourself or for even as a gift or for custom order, whatever. You can actually make this for whatever size. This video will take you along the process of how I started from the beginning to the end, and also I'll give you guys instructions on how you can recreate this for different sizes. I don't know what is wrong with me, but anyway, I wanted to say happy new year because this is my first video, and I wanted to say happy new year. I wish you guys an amazing 2023 filled with so much blessings and so many blessings and happiness. That's what I wish for you all. So I'm not going to make this intro too long. I did use 300, no, I think 400 gram of yarn for the entire top. And again, this top is made in size large, so you can obviously make this in your size. It doesn't have to be large, and I did give you guys instructions on how you can make this for different sizes as well. So you will be needing a yarn. Any yarn of choice is fine. You don't really have to stick to the one I used. um I did use a 2.5 millimeter for the back and the front panel because the top is worked in two different panels, the front and the back, and then the sleeves are worked later on after you assemble both panels together. And you will be needing a measurement tape, stitch marker, scissors of course, and what else? And also you will be needing a 3.5 millimeter as well because that is what I used for the sleeves. And yeah, that is basically it. Measurements you'll be needing for this top is actually few measurements. You will be needing your waist. Well, I use the waist measurement because it's a crop top, but if you want the top to be longer, then I guess you have to just take a measurement of where you want the top to stop. You can actually make this as a dress as well, depending on how long you want the top to be. So you will be needing the measurement of where you want the top to be around. So this is a waist length, so this actually falls right on top of the waist. So you're going to, I use the waist measurement, your bust measurement as well. You will be needing the top length as well, to where you want the top to actually fall from your shoulders up until where you want the top to fall. And you also will be needing your armpit hole measurement, which is basically around your armpit. And I think those are the measurements you will actually be needing for this tutorial. It's actually very simple, very simple. It's just basically the same thing. And then I used double crochet and single crochet and chains of course for this tutorial. No extraordinary stitch, basic stitch. And I think it's actually a beginner tutorial, but again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll definitely make time to answer your questions. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please kindly subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Ciao. So for this project, I am using this beautiful yarn with this beautiful color pattern. So it's actually from Action, because again I live in the Netherlands, so I get all my yarn from the Netherlands. So it's 100% acrylic yarn, and this one ball is actually a total of 150 gram. And again, I just have this ombre cake kind of, I think it's called printed ombre cake. And the recommended hook size for this particular yarn, it's a 4.5 to 5.5, but I will be using a 2.5 because of my tension. I want it to be tight, so I'm going to use a 2.5. So again, this is optional. You can go for whatever size hook that you want depending on how tight you want your stitches to be. So let's get right into the video. So to get started, you're going to be needing your bust measurement. So for this project, we are working on both panels separately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a slip knot. You're going to go ahead and make a regular slip knot. So right here I have a total of 85 chains. So again, depending on the size hook you're using, you will probably have a different amount of chain. But I am again using a 2.5, and the reason why I did a total of 85 chain, which in this case is a total of 17 inches, is because of the waist measurement, sorry. So the top is going to start with the waist measurement, and along the way we will be increasing for the bust measurement because the waist has to be fitted. So depending on the size you're making, let's say for example, the one I'm actually working on, the actual waist measurement is 34. So the reason why I'm making a total of 17 inches, again, like I said, we are working in two panels. So you're going to divide the actual waist measurements, which in this case 34 inches, into two, and then that is going to leave you with a total of 17 inches. So depending on the size of yarn you're using, or the amount of the hook you're using, you will be again probably have a different amount of chain, or you're just going to make sure you divide your waist measurement by two, and then you're going to chain a chain that is as long as your waist measurement. So to get started with row one, I'm not going to chain an extra one because again you can do it, but it's really not necessary. So I'm going to yarn over, skip my first chain, and right into the second I'm going to go with my first double crochet, into the next with another double crochet, and into the next with another double crochet. So I am going to repeat this with one double crochet up until the very end, and at the end I shall have a total of 84 double crochets because we did chain 85 and we did not chain an extra one, so which means we will end up with a total of 84 double crochet instead of 85 double crochet. And I'll see you guys at the very end. So right here I have row one complete. It's just a basic double crochet. So from here I'm going to go ahead and chain one and turn. So chain one doesn't count as a stitch, it's just a starting chain. And right into this first double crochet that we did from the previous row, we are going to go right there and sew this space with our first double crochet, and into the next with another double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this up until the very end, just the way we did for the previous row. So for basically I'm going to continue to do double crochet without increase and decreasing until I have a total of 5 inches. And the reason why I am using 5 inches because the actual length of the top is going to be 17 inches. So from right under your bust to where you want your top to be is going to be is 5 inches in this particular case. So depending on how long you want yours to be, so you're just going to take your measurement from right under your bust area to where you want your actual top to be. If you want it to be a crop top, then you're going to again take your measurement and see how long that is. So for this case it's going to be 5 inches. So I'm going to repeat rows of double crochet like this until I have a total of 5 inches, and then I'll be back and show you guys how we can go about increasing. Right here I have 11 rows complete, and that's a total of almost 5 inches, which is fine. So again, like I said, this is rows with no increase and no decreasing, so that's the reason why this is straight like this. So at the end of the row, you chain one, you turn, and then you continue your double crochet row. So we are going to go ahead and increase for the bust area. So remember that the waist area was 34 when divided into two. We had 17. So the bust area is 42. When divided into two, it gives you 20. 21 inches in this case. So the actual piece that we have at this point after row 11 is 17. Sometimes it stretches all the way to 18, which is not a problem, that's fine. So now we are going to go ahead to and increase for a few more rows until the back panel is a total of 21 inches. So depending on the amount of crochet, the size yarn you're using or the size hook you're using, you probably wouldn't need to increase more or increase a lot, maybe just few rows. But in my case, I'm going to do increasing for 4 rows. So I'm going to increase at the beginning and I'm going to increase at the end of each row for 4 rows. So right now I have a total of 11 rows. So I'm going to continue to do increase until I'm up to row 15. So to get started with the increase pattern, I am going to chain 1, which again does not count as a stitch. And right into this first double crochet, I'm going to go with my first double crochet right there. And right into the same space, I'm going to go with another double crochet, which actually is the first increase of this row. So right on, I'm just going to go ahead and do 1 double crochet in every double crochet from the previous row up until the very end, where I go about doing another increase at the last double crochet space. So I'm going to continue all the way to the end. So right here I'm coming to the end of the row and I'm just going to make sure I do my last increase right into the last double crochet there. So right here, this is my last double crochet, so I'm going to insert my crochet hook, and that's my last double crochet. So because we're increasing again, I'm going to go ahead and insert my crochet hook right into that same space, and now we have 2 double crochet at the end of that space. So to get started with row 13, because that was row 12, you're going to chain 1, insert your crochet hook, and do your same increase right into that same space, and then 1 double crochet up until the very end, where you go about doing your increasing again. Like I said, I'm going to do this for a total of 4 rows. So at the end of row 15, I should have a total of 24 inches width because of the few increasing that I did for the 4 row. So again, depending on the difference between your waist and your bust measurement, you would probably need to do more increasing or less increasing. So I do not have like a measurement or exact increasing pattern for each size, but I'm just showing you guys how I do this for different sizes, because this top is a custom order itself. It's not for my size. It's not for my size, but I'm guessing this is going to be a large. So if you're making a large and your bust measurement and your waist measurement aligns with the measurements that I mentioned earlier, then you probably will be doing the same step. But if your measurement is different, then you obviously are doing a different amount of rows and a different amount of increasing and chains. So I'm going to continue to do my rows of increasing, which is 4 increase row, and then I'll come back and show you guys how it looks so we can go about the rest of the back panel together. So right here I just finished my increase rows, and again I did a total of 4 rows of increase, so I have a total of 15 rows at the moment. So we are going to go ahead and take a measurement and see how wide the back panel is at this point. So right here you can see it's a total of 20, and obviously when it's stretched it goes all the way to 21 inches, which is perfect. So I would advise you to take your measurements, take the measurement of how wide your panel is, and if it's not too wide to your divided bust measurement, then you go ahead and do more increase. If it's perfect, then, or if it's close, it's fine, because again this stretches a lot, and if it's too big, then that means you have to go back and take off your increasing, so maybe 1 or 2 rows that you did. So from now on, the length of the back panel is currently 6 inches. Again, this stretches also with the length and with the width. So it's currently 6 inches. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go ahead and do rows of double crochet without any increasing and any decreasing until the length is 17 inches, because that's the length for the top. That's the length I am going for. So if you're going for a top that is shorter, then obviously you need to do less rows. If you're going for a top that is longer, then of course you need to do more rows, sorry. So in my case, I have a total of 6.5 inches now, so I'm going to go ahead and do more increasing, more rows of double crochet, sorry, until I have a total of 17 inches. So for the rest of the row, I'm going to go ahead and chain one, because obviously chain one is just a starting chain, and right into this first double crochet with my first double crochet. And because we are not increasing again, I will be going into the next instead of right into that same space. So into the next with my second double crochet, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat this up until the end of the row. So when I get to the end of the row, I'm going to chain one and turn, and continue to do this until I have my desired length that I'm going for the top. So right here I have my back panel complete. As you can see the increasing going on at the side, and this is what it looks like when it's folded. Again, I did a total of 38 rows in total, and that should be a total of 17 inches. So in this case, it's a total of 16, but again, it obviously stretches all the way, so that is perfect for me. So I did a total of 38 rows. So what I'm going to do for the back panel is I'm going to chain the same amount of chains that I did at the beginning. Going to go ahead and do the same 11 rows of double crochet that I did with no increasing and decreasing. Going to do my 4 rows of increasing that I did on both sides, and I'm going to go ahead and do the remaining rows. So after my increasing row, I did a total of 24 rows to get to the top of, to get my desired length. So what I'm going to do in this case is, for the front panel, instead of doing the total of 24 rows after my increasing row, I am going to do a total of 21 rows. And the reason is because we are going to go ahead and chain and divide and work on the neckline. The reason is because we are going to then go ahead and work on the neckline with the remaining 3 rows that we are going to take out or not do with the normal rows. So I hope you guys understand what I'm doing, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same pattern up until row 35, because I did a total of 38 rows. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same pattern up until row 35, and I'm going to come right back and show you guys how we can go about with the neckline. I'll see you guys in a bit. So right here I have row 35 complete. Again, I did 38 rows for the back panel, but for the front panel I stopped at 35 rows. So depending on how many rows you did for your panel, you're going to just subtract 3 from the actual amount you did for your back panel for the front panel, basically. So that's a total of 14.5, almost 15 inches. So to get started with the remaining part of the front panel, I'm going to go ahead, that was my 35th row. So basically for this part, you're just going to go ahead and fold. Let's say, for example, you're going to go ahead and fold your front panel into 2 right here, because we are going to then decide how wide the neckline is going to be. So after folding, you're going to go ahead and just take your measurements. You can even count your stitches, but I use measurement because it's way easier for me. So I'm going to take my measurement, and then I'm going to go ahead and take 3 inches. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and attach a stitch marker right there, and then another one at the opposite end. To go ahead and attach my 1 stitch marker there on one side, and then the other stitch marker at the opposite end. So this is the neckline. So depending on how wide you want yours to be, then of course you can go in and add more. So this is 6 inches for this particular size. Again, this is a size large. If you're making a size medium, then I think 6 inches is fine. If you're maybe making a size small or extra small, then I would suggest you go for 5 inches instead of 6. And of course, if you're making a size bigger, then obviously you need to go for more inches when it comes to the neckline. So back to this part of the front panel, I'm just going to go ahead now and do 1 double crochet up until the stitch marker right there. So coming right at the stitch marker, I'm going to make sure I add my last double crochet where the stitch marker is. So I'm going to take this off because at this point I will not be needing it. So I'm going to take it off, and right into this last space I'm going to go with my last double crochet. So from here on, I'm going to go ahead and turn my work, chain 1, and then I'm going to continue to do 1 double crochet in every space until I get to the very end. Again, if you remember, I did like take 3 rows from the back panel, so that means I'm going to do this for a total of 3 rows, and afterwards I'm going to attach my yarn right at the opposite end, and then I'll repeat the same process until I get to the stitch marker, go back and forth for 2 more rows, and then the front panel is complete. Right here again, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and attach my yarn into this first double crochet that we have right here. I think, yeah, right here is the double crochet. I'm just going to attach my yarn and then make a secure knot right there. And again, I'm just going to work my double crochet right into the stitch marker like I said earlier. So you're going to chain 1, first double crochet right into that same space, another one into the next, just 1 double crochet in every double crochet from the previous row up until the very end. So I'm just going to go ahead and work my way and come into the stitch marker like we did from the previous side. We are going to take it off and right into that same last space where the stitch marker was attached. That is where we are going to go with our last double crochet. Going to chain 1 and turn. So I'm going to continue this for a total of 2 more rows, then I have the front panel complete. So I'll come back and show you guys how we can go about attaching the fronts to the back panel, and then we can go ahead and get started with the sleeve. So guys, right here I have the opposite side also complete. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my back panel, which is this panel right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just align the front panel right on top of this back panel. Can we just see how everything just like the colors just align with it perfectly? So right here you can see the front panel right on top of the back panel. So in this case, you can go ahead and decide where you want the front, the inside to be, and where you want the outside to be. I mean the right and the wrong side. But in my case, I do not see a difference between this part and this part, so for me it doesn't really matter. So depending on the yarn you used, or depending, I don't know, some situations, then you can decide and then make sure you turn the outside right at the inside, because we are going to be going ahead and single crochet along the neckline, along the shoulders, sorry, and then along the side of the panels. So let's get into this. So right here, after aligning it, I'm just going to make sure it's actually flat and every stitch lays against the next stitch that is actually supposed to lay against, and also make sure the ends are also the same, so you don't have the ends looking shorter, one end looking, just you don't have the panels looking uneven. So right here, I'm just going to go ahead and attach my yarn right into this back panel, and then I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch this together. So turn this around, and you're just going to, I usually just go for single crochet, but again you can slip stitch both of the panels together, whatever works for you. You can even use your needle and just sew this together, but I am going to single crochet it together because I feel like I like the outcome of it when it's single crochet together better than the rest. So I'm just going to make sure I grab the back panel and the front panel together, and then I single crochet, grab one double crochet from the front, one double crochet from the back, single crochet it together. So basically that's what I'm doing for this entire shoulders together. So right here you can see that's the last double crochet. So for the last double crochet I usually go there twice into the same space just so I can have it secured. So now I'm going to chain one and I'm going to cut off my yarn because this is already complete. So I usually go ahead and also, just to make it extra secure, and just make extra knot and sew in the loose ends. And also the opposite end. So I'm going to repeat the same process on the opposite side. Again, this is already single crochet together, so it means the front and back panel is already attached. So I'm going to continue to do it for the opposite side, and then also I am going to do it for this side of the top, just of course we need to seal the side of the top, and to determine how from where you actually need to seal. For example, let's say for this particular size, the arm measurement is a total of 16 inches. So 16 inches when divided by 2 gives you a total of 8 inches. So again, why we are dividing by 2 is because this is 8 inches and this is 8 inches. So we are not going to take the measurement around, we are just going to take a measurement of one side. So for that reason, we need to divide the actual armpit hole measurement basically. So we're using your armpit hole measurement. So right from the top, right from the neckline right there, you're going to go ahead and take your measurement, and right here is where 16 inches actually stops for the stop. I am going to go ahead and do an extra inches just because the sleeves are oversized, so there is no need for me to make this tight or fitted because the sleeves are going to be oversized anyway. So depending on your own armhole measurement, then you can go ahead and add 1 inches or even 2, depending on how wide you want your sleeve to be, just to give you the oversized effect for the sleeve. But I am going to stop right at 7 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and take my stitch marker right there, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to both panels just so I secure this and know where I should start when I need to single crochet the side of the panel together. So right there. So now I know this is going to be the open arm, and I know I need to single crochet right from there up until the very end of the panel. So I'm going to go ahead and do this 2 sides, do the one shoulders that I haven't done yet, and then I'll come back and show you guys how we can go about to get started with the sleeves. So coming up, I already have both panels attached, and I already did one side of the sleeve. I'm also going to go ahead and show you guys how we can go about doing while I'm doing the other side. So to get started with the sleeve, you're going to take your yarn. So I did switch to a 3.5 millimeter. I was using a 2.5, sorry, at the beginning, but for the sleeves we are going to use a 3.5, and you're just going to take your yarn and attach it right at the armpit area because this is going to be right under your armpit. So you're going to take your yarn and attach it at one side and make a secure knot right there. I'm just going to make extra knot just as extra security, and from here on I'm just going to go ahead and single crochet all around. So you're going to make sure you single crochet in every space available. I would also advise you to count how many single crochets you're doing just so you make sure you do the same on the opposite side. to have the same amount of single crochet in each sleeve. So you're basically going to chain one and single crochet in every space available around this armhole, like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue my single crochet all around. So right here we are actually at the starting point where we did the first single crochet. So I'm just going to go right into that same space with my last single crochet. So from here on we are going to start the double crochet row, and we are going to start the increase row because again we are doing an oversized sleeve, so we are going to increase. And the increase pattern is basically just double crochet into the first double crochet space and another one into that same space. As you can see, I did not chain anything because we will be working in rounds, and whenever you chain something, I feel like it always gives you the same at the sleeve, and that is not what we are going for. But again, I'll show you guys how you can end this off so it can be seamless. So in this the increase pattern, you're just going to add 2 double crochet in every single crochet from the previous row. Right here we just did a first set of double crochet, sorry, and into this next single crochet you're going to go with your 2 double crochet. That's the first one, and then the second one right into that same space. Again, you're going to go ahead and do 2 double crochet right into this space right here. First double crochet, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through again, and then you're going to repeat it again for the second time. So this is the increase pattern for the sleeve. So you're going to continue this up until all around until you get to the starting point right there, and then I'll see you guys when I have this row complete. So coming right here at the starting point, I am just going to make sure I add my 2 increase remaining on this side, just so I don't skip anything. So right here I just did my last increase right there. So from here on we're just going to go ahead and go right into this first increase right there with a first double crochet for the second row, and then one more into the next. So at this point you're just going to basically do 1 double crochet in every double crochet from the previous row, because we're only going to increase for this first row. After the first row you're basically doing 1 double crochet in every double crochet from the previous row until you have your desired length. So I did a total of 12 rows for the sleeve. Again, this one was already complete, so I did a total of 12 rows. So I'm just going to go all around with double crochet. Whenever I get to this point, I'm just going to go right on top of it with double crochet again. So I'm going to repeat this for 10 more rows, and then I'll come back and show you guys how you can go about to seal off the sleeve, and then I'll see you guys in a bit. So coming right at the end of row 12, I'm just going to just make sure I double crochet my way right under the armpit area, because that is where we actually started with the sleeves. So again, you're just going to go ahead depending on how many rows you're doing. In my case, like I said, I'm going for 12 rows of double crochet, and I think it's about 5 inches. So if you want this to be longer, of course you can go ahead and do so. So in my case it's 6 inches, so that is perfect for my sleeve. So now to seal this off, I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the yarn, cut this off. So to seal this off, because again we did not like chain anything at the beginning, so we wouldn't have a seam, so it will be seamless. So now to end this off, you cannot just like slip stitch this and then it's done. So I'm going to change to a smaller crochet hook. I am using 1 millimeter, Again, you can use just anything that is smaller than 3.5 will be fine. So afterwards, now we are just going to go ahead and over, instead of double crochet, we are going to go ahead and do half double crochet, a single crochet, and a single crochet. So you're basically going to single crochet a few times just so you have this sealed. So basically this is how it looks. You can go ahead and sew in your loose ends, of course, just like this. Oh, this can be so hectic sometimes. And of course you can go ahead and cut off this skin, because at this point everything is complete. And if you have any other extra loose ends, of course go ahead and cut them off, like I am doing right here. I need to get myself a new pair of scissors. Again, so this is the final top, guys. I really enjoy making this. This is one of my oldest designs, and I haven't made this in a long time, and I'm so glad I got another custom order to recreate this. And again, I just wanted to show you guys how you can go about making this for yourself in any other size as well. So if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, because that will help my channel to grow, and YouTube will be able to recommend my tutorials to other people as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to join my family. Feel free to join my family, and because we have more crochet tutorials and crochet content coming up. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Ciao ciao.